Hello everybody and welcome to the Ruffleberry Punkcake channel, RBPK Productions. I'm your host as always, Jesse, and today we're going to be doing a special custom commission build. I call this one Cold Fall Nights, and Odd and Peculiar Friendships. We're going to need some orange. We're also going to need to mix some tan with some yellow. Canary yellow typically works the best for the belly color since they don't exactly have that texture color. So right now, of course, the tools you're going to need is an embezzling tool, an X-Acto knife, and some tin foil, and of course a baking sheet or something sturdy so you don't stain everything. Right now I'm really working on the body, which it was surprisingly simple to do this one. It was actually a lot easier to do this one than some of my more recent builds. Either that or I just had like this art inspiration out of nowhere, like those sparks that some people get. Right now I'm working with that belly piece, and again you're going to want to mix some standard tan with some like yellow, particularly like a really light yellow, a very Easter-esque color. You're going to want to have that go partially up the tail and around the belly. Now I did put a hole in the bottom, and that's because I don't want the clay to explode. And again, you want air pockets to leak out the bottom, that way you don't see any obvious cracks in the event that it does crack. So right now I'm getting his arms prefabbed, I'm getting the hands done, and again I'm shaping them, giving him those bony shoulders that he has, and getting those bony elbows, and I'm kind of pre-fitting everything to make sure it's okay. The tail and the body were easy enough. The body's more of the shape of a leek. It's going to be bulbous on the bottom and a little thinner as you go up. And the tail is, well, just a simple tail. And again, you want to get that underbelly on there. But that's really all you're going to need for the color, and it kind of overmixed. You can kind of see down at the bottom of the screen there was a big ball of it. And I was just like, well, I can use this for later builds, I suppose. And so I'm putting on the claws with the 3 fingers and just getting everything, again, prefab, getting on the small details. I was really out of sorts today. I had to stain a lot of the little boards that I like to put this on because it's the cheapest way to go, and it's fairly sturdy and it has a wider base so it can hold up to a lot more weight. Now I'm getting the head, and again, the head was super easy for me. I simply just pinched a bunch of it, got a small glob of it, about a half stick, and again, I cut the mouth line. I didn't want it open because of the attitude I wanted him to have, a very calm, submissive look to him. It still has that intensity of all Charizards, but I'm just cutting those in and getting the horns in the face kind of pre-fit and kind of dug out a little bit. So I'm going to be pushing in those holes for the eyes and just really getting it cut. So as you can see right there, I'm cutting out the eyes and getting some white ready. And again, I was really worried about this part, and as I've said before, I hate doing eyes. But these turn out pretty good. They turn out as symmetrical as you could possibly get them, considering it's all handmade. Looking at it, you won't even notice it unless you like put it under a microscope. So I got really lucky with that. I was kind of blessed with that situation. And so I'm going to be putting on the eyes, and I kind of did just one solid color, so it's going to be like a small triangle of black on both eyes. And it makes him look more friendly, I think, rather than the intense blues and dark blacks with it. But anyway, I'm prefabbing that. It's kind of off camera. I do apologize for that. I kind of got in the zone of this. Again, this is a commission for a friend who wanted to have me make a Charizard for him and a Metapod. And so I'm getting the teeth done and everything like that. He's already been fit together. And of course, I left the neck open underneath the chin. And the reason why is again, if it is going to leak air, it's going to go straight out of that hole rather than blow the neck off and ruin the piece. And again, this stuff gets expensive if you keep screwing it up. So try to allow as many gaps as possible just so that air can escape, because God forbid it all cracks, it just looks unsightly and you don't want to sell it. Right now I'm getting the thighs prepped as well. His really stubby legs and, you know, fairly small arms, so you don't really have to worry about using too much. I really, this was the last of this type of orange I had. I had sweet potato, but it wouldn't go well with this Charizard because they're 2 different colors. And I'm trying to get his tail balanced out to where, you know, everything will work well together. And his feet aren't too hard either. Again, it's just a little stubby foot with claws. Getting all that white, and I kind of just kept dropping clay the whole time, so really it was just a matter of getting everything ready to go. And again, 3 toes on each, and again, just like the hands, 3 fingers per arm, and so 3 toes per foot. And again, it turned out fairly well. And again, you want to keep making sure that that hole in the bottom is open, because if it is not, and if it gets sealed by sheer accident, you know, it could burst and crack your project and really ruin things. And so right now I'm prefabbing the arms to kind of get them on there, smoothing them out. I kind of held them in close rather than outward because, again, these this body is very thin in a lot of places, and you don't want things falling apart. So you want to add to the structural integrity by simply just piecing it together. And again, I struggle with the wings a little bit, trying to figure out what to do. Again, you could use wire or, you know, paper clips, but I really didn't want to go to the trouble of wrapping clay around a paper clip and getting it to smooth, because sometimes those get cracked around the metal, because the metal can heat up quicker than the clay can, and it can mess with the curing situation. So right now I'm kind of getting this all fixed up. And again, you might have to pause the video because it kind of went through that pretty quick. But again, this is a special type of glue, and kind of gotta cut it out. And I did this in two pieces because there is a slight crease in his wings, more towards the outer portion. And again, I wanted to get those little thumb spikes above the wing as well on there. But right now I'm just trying to pre-fit all that, cut it to good, you know, to get it right. And honestly, it turned out a lot better than I thought, and it went a lot faster than I thought, because I was really concerned about it just not looking good and just being kind of, you know, podunk looking, you know, really crappy. And again, with the wire, it doesn't have as much structural integrity. I was worried it was going to crack, but that's where I kind of started to get my inspiration for what I was going to do, because he wanted like two Pokemon that he really liked. My friend being the one who ordered this item to have a Metapod, so I figured hey, this will be a great way of doing it. So right now I'm ripping off little beads of fire, so to speak. For fire, I'm going to have red, like a deep rouge red, and of course a canary yellow, which I used to mix into the tan for the belly. And right now it's kind of getting pre-fitted. Everything doesn't look perfect yet. The wings are a little saggy, but again, all that can be fixed. But right now it's baking. I was finished with it officially then, and so I was like, well, let's start on the Metapod. And again, I was kind of out of sorts, because after I was done with Charizard, I went over there and stained some wood that I had not done yet, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get this done today. But Metapod was actually a little more difficult, shape-wise, than Charizard. I know that sounds strange, but I don't know, I don't know if I guess I just kind of lost artist confidence as soon as I started on the easier one. But again, I'm trying to pre-fit him, make him look good, and right now I'm kind of working on the tail. Again, towards his tail it's going to be kind of sectioned, and he's going to have a lot of black lines, so instead I just kind of put like bulbous pieces on there, since I didn't want to mark all over him. I wanted to make him more 3D instead of using the black lines, because it would just be too meticulous and it wouldn't turn out as good. So I made his facial structure with all the bumps and stuff, and part of the carapace. So I made those bulge out to make it look more like a chrysalis, which is what he is. He's in the middle of metamorphosis, hence the name Metapod. So I get the eyes on there, little white dots, and again, you're going to use Granny Smith, white, and black for this character. It's really easy. And again, the great part about Metapod is he can look both angry and sad at the same time because of his shape. Is the black horn his nose? Who knows? But again, super easy. And so I put those both on the baking pan, and in the meantime, again, bake it at 275. In the meantime, I was going to go, well, I don't want the stand to look too plain. Again, I'm a really big fan of making the stand look cool as well, like the environment. It just really helps the Pokemon's personalities pop. Right now, I was like, let's make a campfire. So I took a couple logs, and I filled them with that tan, of course, and I wrapped some black around them to make it look like they're charred. Again, Charizard is making his own little fire to survive the cold fall night. Again, that's the theme, is fall and friendship and surviving the night. So I pretty much just took a small little thing, an inspiration of a small fire pit, and I was looking at pictures and whatnot to make sure things looked right. And again, I didn't have a little wooden piece to measure this out. And I was kind of mad about that because, well, in all truth, it's essentially the one thing I forgot. So I'm just going to start cutting up these little wood sticks, and I was going to get them started to turn them into a small campfire. And so, at this point, like, the campfire's kind of pre-fit, had some spare logs, and so I'm going to do the same thing I did with Charizard's tail by, intertwining some yellow and some red, again, that I had left over. I had quite a bit of it, so honestly this wasn't too hard. And again, I just used the same technique I did for his little tail. So I got that all fit up, and I was just like, well, that's not enough. And since this is a fall theme and I love the colors of fall, I used brown, that yellow, and that red to make some fall leaves. You know, at first I was like, well, what if they look like fire and embers? And I was like, well, I don't worry about that. So after a little while, I got it all done, and off camera I made more leaves, and I got the base made. It's just like a dirt area, and again, some grass, and again the leaves are in a massive pile by the Metapod and the finished Charizard. So I surrounded the fire pit and some different variable stones, and again I'll stipple those with an embezzling tool a little later. Right now I'm cutting up a small stick to put on the side, again to add a little more personality. And right now I'm kind of just prefabbing and putting some leaves down, and I want to make sure that everything looks right. So I'm moving the Metapod around and the Charizard around to kind of get a general idea of where to mark where the Pokemon are going to be. And so I was just really fidgeting with it, and so I have all that done, and then I'm going to start adding grass texture with the back of my X-Acto knife. Don't use the sharp edge because you'll actually cut through it and kind of ruin the structural integrity of the base plate. So again, you want to kind of just chop that with the back dull end. And then again, I take the embezzling tool, or I call it the stippler, and just kind of poke dots into the ground, kind of give everything texture. I did it to the stones to make them look like moonstones or meteorites, and I think it just kind of added it. Again, I'm going to be using some Sculpey Satin Finish. I'm going to be putting this both on the Pokemon and on the base plate. I want everything to be protected and sealed so that moisture or sunlight doesn't affect it as much. And I put this on everything. So be sure to get some of this if you're going to be doing clay art, especially if you're going to be painting things, because this will protect the paint. I know a lot of people, I mean, this is very similar to nail polish cover, the gloss glaze, so you just kind of want to put that in, and it dries by the air, so you don't have to worry about having to put it in the kiln, so to speak. Again, this is a very long, drug-out process, actually, because I had to get every nook and cranny without worrying about chipping Charizard or breaking him, which was super stressful. So basically, again, when you're doing Charizard, if you are going to make him, just be careful not to chip the wings. Again, the inner part of the wing is very thin, considering the rest of him is a little more thick. And again, the nails at any time can pop off if you're not careful, so really watch your finger placement. Make sure you're not going to break the character, because again, there's a lot of work in these. That first portion making Charizard was like almost an hour and a half, so almost 2 hours actually from what I'm looking at right now. So just do not break him. Take your time. Get that on there. Get the satin finish on there. Make him look good like a little action figure. And just really make him, you know, look better, per se. And again, he was finally done and glossed up, and he looks fantastic now. And so I was going to do the Metapod real quick, so I just kind of globbed that on there. And unfortunately, I'm kind of running out of it, and of the gloss glaze. I was like, oh crap, I got to go buy more after work tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. But again, a fairly easy build, and again, get some hot glue, put that base plate down, and again, since I didn't measure it too well, I couldn't really do it as well as I wanted to, as far as fitted to the wood like I normally do, but this turned out pretty well. And so I was trying to figure out where the Metapod should go, and so I decided to put him back behind him to kind of keep his back, you know, watch his back for him, and also stay warm by the fire of his tail. And I think it turned out well as soon as I was done gluing everything down. I'm very happy with this. Caleb, I hope you enjoyed this commission. I'm so happy I was able to make this for you. You're a great guy, and as it says, friends watch each other's back, no matter who they are or where they're from. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you like it. And if you want to like this tutorial, be sure to share it with your friends and share it on Facebook and everywhere else, because it would really help me out. Again, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys in the next video. And of course, as always, bye.